of come right back to our area.
And we did wake up to some frost, like you mentioned, and it makes sense because it's that time of the year where we see a lot of that on the ground.
That's right, and you know what? I always kind of wanted to explain how frost works, so I went ahead and did it. Take a look.
Tonight, we are going to take a look at what frost is and how it develops.
Well, let's see here. It's about 1 a.m. in the morning and pretty much just waiting for the frost to develop. You know, I figured why not? You know, it's a nice evening out too. The stars are kind of bright.
In theory, frost can develop at any time of the day, but typically we see it developing overnight because the necessary conditions to form frost are usually found during the nighttime hours.
We got a pretty heavy dew now that's beginning to develop.
So, believe it or not, frost is actually just dew that is frozen. So let us take a look at how dew develops. During the day, the sun heats the ground, but at night, the ground begins to radiate this heat outwards. The air above the ground is also cooling as well. As the night progresses, the temperatures begin to drop and will approach a value known as the dew point temperature. This is the point which water vapor in the air will condense, and little water droplets begin to form.
Well, it's 6:15 in the morning, the temperature is 36 degrees, and we actually got some frost out there.
So how did the dew that developed turn into frost all of a sudden?
Now you see, even though the air temperature is only about 36 degrees, right at the ground level, well, the temperature is actually at freezing.
Because colder air is more dense than warmer air, the colder air begins to sink towards the ground while the warmer air is forced upwards.
Now this is actually really cool. You can see that the heat from the concrete is actually basically prevented the frost from forming on the grass right next to the concrete, even though we see the frost is forming pretty well right there. Now there are other types of frost that can develop as well, but that's the most common type of frost, and that's of course what we saw this morning and what we saw a couple weeks ago as well.
All right, the more you know. Thanks,
right.
Timothy.